This week on Wake Up Whitewater, we'll take a look at farmers' responses to daylight savings.
We'll look at the behind the scenes of a UWW TV program and a studio interview with Professor Eric Lepp.
All this and more on Wake Up Whitewater.
Broadcasting from Conover Studio at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, this is Wake Up Whitewater.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Whitewater. I'm Kayla C. alongside Alex Lindblom and Justice Brazelton. And St. Patrick's Day is coming up this weekend. It's actually on the Tuesday next week, but most people are celebrating it in the weekend because Tuesday's an odd day for it.
Right.
What do you guys usually do? Or do you have any plans for this St. Patrick's Day?
You know, I usually just hang out with friends, put on that green shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Once a year. And just kind of hang out with people. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I don't usually go crazy for St. Patty's Day, but something I do hold close to my heart is back in elementary school, when you'd come back from recess, you'd come back from lunch on St. Patty's Day, and the whole classroom would be trashed, like chairs flipped over, they'd be like green little like paintings that were done and stuff, and I remember that being such a fun little like, oh my gosh, like this is real, like the leprechaun's real kind of thing. But then you'd end up having to clean it up, so it kind of ruined all the fun.
Yeah.
And those gold little chocolate coins, those are always super fun too.
Leprechauns are mischievous.
Yes.
They are.
No, that was really fun. I always love that. Yeah, setting up the leprechaun trap and all that. It always seemed like such a bigger deal, back then. Now looking back at it, it's like, oh, that was nothing, but it was fun at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's fun. I didn't really do traditions like that. But fun fact, my birthday is actually the day before St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
So St. Patrick's Day was always like, my birthday's coming up,
Yeah.
but then it also kind of took away from my birthday, and then I don't want to wear green on my birthday or like my
Yeah,
birthday
exactly.
weekend, right? The only time I'll wear green willingly is for St. Patrick's Day because, boy, right?
Are any of you guys Irish? I think that's a big question.
I don't believe I am. I might be. My mom's maiden name was an O,
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's pretty spot on.
Yeah, it used to be. Now it's just Sullivan, but yeah. So might be. Are you Alex?
I am not Irish, but my girlfriend is, so.
Yeah,
There you
well,
go.
I got an ancestry DNA test for Christmas, so we'll be finding out. That's the news
You
I'm
gotta
gonna
do
get.
that.
And the news here never stops, and neither do we. We'll be right back with more after this break.
We'd love to show you what it's like to be a war hawk.
Come on!
Don't miss out on your chance to be a war hawk.
At UW Whitewater.
You belong here.
She's always had it. Pure ambition. An unbridled self-confidence that most people only dream of. You see it driving her, empowering her, and in time, you see it fueling her future. Perhaps even helping her blaze a new trail. All she needs now is a way to make it happen. We are the Universities of Wisconsin. 13 universities. Unlimited opportunity.
Peyton Walls, and this is your UWW-TV News Update. Chancellor Corey A. King is inviting all UWW students and faculty to the annual State of the University Address scheduled for March 17th at 10 in the morning. Hosted in the UC's Hamilton Room, the event recognizes the recipients of the Diversity and Inclusivity Awards, as well as honors university staff members. Key topics such as strategic, academic, and budget plans will also be discussed. In March of 2024, Governor Tony Evers approved a capital budget bill to fund the renovation of Winther and Heidi Hall. Now, on April 17, 2026, there is a groundbreaking scheduled at noon to celebrate the start of this project. Guided tours of the building and appetizers will be available between 12 and 12:30 in the afternoon, with the groundbreaking ceremony and remarks to begin shortly after. Construction is slated to begin in May 2026, with classes expected to resume in the building in spring of 2029. Those who plan to attend the ceremony will be asked to register by April 10th. And we'll have more news on UWW TV right after this.
All right, who's next?
The next candidate is Willie Warhawk.
Okay, Willie, let me help you get set up here.
All right, you can tell Willie to start reading whenever he's ready. That's great. Cut.
Great job, Willie. Thank you for coming in today. We'll be in touch.
Next!
Warhawk Pantry is a campus resource open to all students and community members. Established in 2018, the pantry provides a safe environment for students and others to obtain food, toiletries, and school supplies. Warhawk Pantry can be found in Drumlin Hall, room 143, and is open Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 in the afternoon until 6 in the evening. To learn more about how the pantry is funded, visit uww.edu/Warhawk Pantry. Finally, the Warhawk Success Closet, located in McCutcheon Hall, room 226, is the place to find your business professional outfit. Whether you're preparing for an interview or a career fair, clothes, shoes, and accessories are available to all currently enrolled UWW students at absolutely no cost. The Success Closet is open Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon. For more news and other updates, tune in to uwwtv.org. I'm Peyton Walls, and this has been your news update on UWW TV.
Daylight savings time means brighter evenings and warmer temperatures, but for farmers, the time change can create real challenges. President Donald Trump has previously discussed ending daylight savings time altogether, a move that could bring major changes to the agricultural industry. Our own Peyton Walls spoke with local farmers about how the clock shift affects their work.
Daylight savings has been federal law in the United States for more than a century, but recently many Americans have begun questioning whether daylight savings will be permanent or not. This could have significant influence on many Americans, but especially America's backbone, its farmers. The future of daylight savings has been debated in Washington for years. President Donald Trump has backed efforts to lock the clock, making daylight savings time permanent.
Our family and team of dedicated employees milks 3,000 cows, and we farm close to 4,000 acres, growing corn and alfalfa to feed our herd.
They work hard to make sure that when the clock changes, the animals don't know it.
Cows thrive on routine. They love to be milked, fed, and cared for at the same time every day. So over the last day or so, we've been gradually just changing those schedules just a little bit because the cows feel a bit jet lagged. So it's our job to help adjust those schedules to keep the cows on that routine that they thrive on.
While adjusting cows takes care and attention, modern technology has changed how much daylight actually affects crop work.
With all of our modern large equipment, everything is enclosed and well lit, and so we can run throughout the night if need be, and the daylight hours doesn't affect our cropping operations so much.
President Donald Trump has previously called ending the time change a 50-50 issue, saying many Americans are split on whether they prefer more daylight in the morning or later in the evening.
Personally, I like having the extra hours, the daylight hours, because after running, the farm, putting in a very long day, I still have to run my household at home.
On smaller farms, the work is just as demanding, and farmers follow the same relentless schedule day after day, though the impact of the time change can be felt on a different scale.
But a lot of times in farming, you do what needs to be done regardless if the sun is shining or the moon's out.
Being a farmer requires a unique skill set, and resiliency is at the top of that list.
We're gonna do the work whether the sun's up, the sun's down, it's hot, it's cold, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, it's 2 o'clock at night. Farmers never really get a time off.
President Donald Trump has called ending the clock changes very popular and cited a twice-a-year switch as a costly inconvenience. Lawmakers working to make daylight savings time permanent have pointed to his support, including Senator Sheldon Whitehouse and Rick Scott, who reintroduced the bipartisan Sunshine Protection Act in 2025.
The time change, daylight savings, whether we have it, we don't, it goes away, it's still here 25 years down the road, we're still gonna live minute to minute, day to day, regardless of whether the sun is up or the sun is down.
Reporting for UWW-TV, I'm Peyton Walls.
Thank you, Peyton. Now I want to know how you guys were affected this past weekend by daylight savings.
Yeah, I forgot about it for a second. I had it written on my calendar, but I woke up the next morning. I was like, oh, it's 9 a.m. And then, I looked at my phone and it said something different. And I was like, oh, daylight savings, that time of the year. But yeah, I feel like you really appreciate it then when you have that extra hour in the evening, and then it's like, oh, this is nice.
Exactly. No, yeah, I was pretty affected by it this weekend. On Sunday, I had something to get to at like 3 o'clock, and it was 2 o'clock, but the clock in my car said 3, and I was really confused. I was like, I thought I still had like an hour to get to this thing. And I checked my phone, and my phone was right, and I was like, oh, that's right. I still got to change my car time. But it's actually really nice that it did fall on a weekend this time. So, because usually on the weekends, usually sleep in anyway, for me at least. Yeah. So I didn't really lose any sleep.
Yeah, that's nice. It was Saturday to Sunday and
yeah.
not Sunday to Monday.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I never really know when it's coming. Both the hour back and the hour forward, it just happens, and then I'm confused what time it is in the house because the microwave's wrong, the stove is wrong, the clocks and the watches. But I'm glad that our phones kind of adjust and do it for us, because that's really one of the only things that really bothers us.
Yeah, I feel like it takes a good week anyways to get all those clocks, those random clocks around the house.
I've seen a lot of people tired this week, but it has been nice to have the sun out when it is 6 p.m., 7 p.m. instead of it being dark already.
Yeah.
So it's definitely felt like it's lifted my spirits, like it's spring finally. And so I'm really excited by that.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of more daylight. I really like, this time, how it springs forward. I love having more daylight. I think it just makes your day feel longer,
Yeah, I feel like, you do appreciate then, summertime, you got that extra in the evening, and then in the winter, it's a little lighter in the morning, but yeah.
I mean, I do think, it's good to have sun, but it was really interesting to see and hear these farmers where
their perspective.
This is something that I thought that, was for them mostly, right? And the hundreds of years of these people in agriculture really having to work outside, but it's really interesting to hear that they kind of might have a different perspective, for sure. We have a really great show for you all today. Coming up next, learn how you can prevent illness, and we'll welcome a UWW TV producer into our studio. We'll be back with more on Wake Up Whitewater right after this.
So We Go here on 91.7 The Edge, your station for sports, news, and of course, music. With our extensive music library of alternative, rock, and hip hop. All for you, all right here on 91.7 The Edge.
The UW Whitewater Bookstore is your one-stop shop for apparel, textbooks, and technology. Stop in for a wide selection of gifts from our alumni, family, and name brand sections. Need to purchase or rent a textbook? Head downstairs to Textbook Services. Check out our new custom shop and create personalized apparel for your organization. Need a charger, laptop, or headphones? Our new technology section has everything you might need. For more information and bookstore hours, visit uwwhitewaterbookstore.com.
This is For the Health of It. I'm Nora Hooper. Today, we'll be discussing the importance of hand washing, especially during flu season. The flu spreads primarily via droplets, but it can also be transmitted through contaminated surface that are touched by others. Did you know that 19% of people don't wash their hands after using the restroom? Most of the time, washing your hands isn't a task you think hard about. However, properly washing hands is an important practice to have at all times.
So the right way, of course, is to have water running. You do want to have running water because you're trying to scrub everything off. So of course you want to get a good amount of soap. It doesn't have to be a ton, but enough to have a good lather. And then you need to scrub. You're causing friction on your hands and you're trying to remove everything. So you have to remember that everything is invisible. You cannot see that for the most part with the human eye.
Hand washing doesn't always need specific instructions, though you can choose what works best for you.
Whatever the preference of the individual washing their hands truly is okay. Research shows that either one is effective. So if you have any kind of greasy, oily things, sometimes warm water is better at getting it off. But as far as hot and cold, for killing germs, either one is fine, as long as you're doing all the other steps.
And while the task is a necessity to protect yourself and others, there can be some elements added to the importance of washing your hands properly.
If you are washing your hands properly for the proper amount of time, you'll never get rid of all of them, but you do get rid of enough where it should definitely reduce your chance to get sick or spread germs further. But again, if you're not fully scrubbing, then it's even higher risk. They have fun things for kids to do. It's like germ, and it glows in the dark, and they have kids wash their hands. You see afterwards how much is left on your hands, and it's a good lesson. And I think it's fun for adults too.
And there you have it, a full rundown of the importance of washing your hands. Our experts remind us that the duration of hand washing does impact the effectiveness. Lastly, according to the CDC, some of the best times to wash your hands include before and after eating food, after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing, and of course, after using the restroom. Let's make a healthier world, just for the health of it. I'm Nora Hooper.
Roomies is a game show that asks how well you know your roommate. In each episode, 3 pairs of roommates try to guess how their roommate answered various getting to know you questions. The roommates who know each other the best will win the fabulous prize and a chance to be crowned Roomies champion.
UWW-TV has been an important part of the campus and community since 1980.
Welcome to Roomies!
I'm Edie Fernay.
I'm Grace Caputo.
I'm Chris Aguilar.
I'm John Venable.
I'm Louis Lee.
And
we're doing Roomies!
It's time to play Roomies.
Roomies is a game show where you figure out how well you really know your roommate. So yeah, we go through 2 rounds where we ask the contestants questions about their roommates, and then we bring the roommates back out and we compare to see if they were able to predict what their roommate would answer, and then they get points, and the team that ends with the most points is crowned the winner. We do 4 episodes with 3 normal games and 1 championship game.
Valentina, if you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
To fly.
Ooh, where would you want to fly to?
Probably outer space.
Ooh, outer space sounds like a lot of fun. Let's see what Bailey said. To fly!
No!
Wow! I know for me personally, I had a blast doing it with season 1. I got to work with my buddy John and Chris over here. We got 2 new peeps on the season this go around. It's just really fun. It's a good experience. It's different than like the usual like shows we do like Best Nest or reporting football games. And it's just a fun time. You get to meet new people.
I remember last year I was a spectator, and I just thought the show was so fun and so interesting to see. And it's a great question, how well do you really know your roommate? So when I was hired at UWW-TV, I was ecstatic to be able to get to work on it this year.
This show is very different compared to most other things that get produced for UWW-TV. Most of them are in a studio or in a set place at a set time, and Roomies only normally films for 2 days. And I think that because of that, it's a good challenge, learning how to pivot, learning how to think on your feet and get things done, and also try to make it super fun. I think that's one of the most important things to me is that the participants and the crew here all have fun.
Last year, I was fortunate enough to be part of the Roomies production team, and just seeing the contestants answer and just the fact that it was different compared to the other shows that I was a part of. I just feel fortunate enough to have come back again.
Definitely seeing the contestants' answers was so much fun. You got so many different bombastic and just dynamic personalities from everyone. That's like the best way to put it.
Yeah, there was last season. I know we had a few of them show up in what was it? It was matching outfits, wasn't it?
Yes, the matching outfits.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
We had contestants show up to the championship game in war paint.
Yeah.
You really get to see people, put on a show as well.
I feel like Roomies is so college. We're here on our campus interviewing people who are in the traditional residence halls and the non-traditional residence halls as well, the more suite style rooms. And it takes place on campus. We're here. It's all student produced, all student led. And there's something so genuine about it that I feel like we get to express our creative freedom almost as much as the people in front of the camera do, which is a very unique experience, unlike anything else I've done.
Wow, that looked like a lot of fun. Well, thank you, Grace, for being here in the studio today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So what inspired you to produce a show like Roomies?
Well, I've always been involved in entertainment throughout all of my hobbies, whether it's being in theater or being a part of a band, even being on the Warhawk Marching Band here on campus. So to produce a show that's unlike any other here on UWW-TV, I thought would be a super fun opportunity.
Yeah, I think that that's amazing that, we have sports shows, we have news shows, and an entertainment show to kind of mix it up. Speaking of which, how do you prepare for that?
Well, first we send out a Google form and gather roommate applicants. We go through those applicants and we pick out which ones we would like to have on the show. We let them know and we assign them to an episode. So we film at Jitter's Coffee House over the course of 2 days. So we have episodes 1, 2, and 3, which get our winners, and then those winners go up against one another in the championship round to crown our champion.
Awesome. And then on the other end of that, how do you deal with your post-show work?
Yeah, so we're actually going into that right now. So we take all of the footage and we put it in Adobe Premiere Pro. And then we take that footage, we do some multicam editing, we add in our commercials, and we just compile the show together.
Cool. And I know that this show was previously produced by somebody else. How have you changed things since then?
We honestly haven't changed much. Carter Welshly did an amazing job for the first season of the show. It was honestly flawless. So the one thing I think we did change was that we had the contestants already on stage when we started the episode rather than coming on stage. But otherwise, he just did a fantastic job, so it was already good to go.
Yeah. And is this open to all UWW students or just on campus?
Just for those who live on campus.
Okay, cool. And then why do you think people should watch Roomies?
It's just so much fun. It's so much fun to watch. You get to learn the different personalities of people who live on campus. And we ask, in my opinion, a lot of great questions that you can even ask your own roommate to get to know them a little bit better and create a better relationship.
Awesome, yeah. I might have to check that out with my own roommates. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have today. Coming up next, we will welcome in political science professor. We'll be right back with more on Wake Up Whitewater, but first, here is our weekend weather update.
What does it mean to be a warhawk?
It means allowing myself to dream big and think outside the box.
Pushing the limits of what I think is possible.
Seeing ideas through from start to finish.
Collaborating with professors and peers.
And seizing opportunities in the community to put my knowledge to use.
I'm studying abroad,
learning another language,
and listening to the stories of others.
I'm making lifelong friends and fearlessly sharing my gifts with the world.
As a warhawk, I stay balanced,
take great care of myself,
and get out of my comfort zone.
I refuse to let the past determine my future.
And I'm taking confident steps in the direction of my dreams.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense.
And other times it couldn't be more exciting.
But I will keep my goals in mind
and never quit.
Because
that's the warhawk way.
Welcome to the Whitewater Forensics team, where we ignite voices and foster connections. With 3 to 4 hours of practice weekly, we embark on a journey of self-discovery and growth. From energizing warm-ups to passionate storytelling, we build confidence in creativity. Join our close-knit team, conquer public speaking fears, and advocate for your story. With over 100 awards annually, become part of a community where every voice matters.
You can see it. His potential, that is. You see it even when he may not. You see that the things that spark his interest today will in time ignite the things he pursues tomorrow, and ultimately help him reach new heights. All he needs now is a way to make it happen. We are the Universities of Wisconsin. 13 universities, unlimited opportunity.
This is Inside the Arts on UWW TV. I'm Grace Caputo. The Department of Theater and Dance presents Dancescapes 26. This production, under the artistic direction of Amy Slater, includes a variety of original dance pieces choreographed by students, faculty, and a special guest artist. You don't want to miss this captivating performance.
Dancescapes 26 will run from Saturday, March 14th through Thursday, March 18th in the Barnett Theater. Other upcoming ticketed events include Chamber Singers and Vocal Jazz on Saturday, March 14th at 7:30 p.m. in the Light Recital Hall, UWW Chamber Orchestra on Tuesday, March 17th at 7:30 p.m. in the Light Recital Hall, Sonic Ensemble on Thursday, April 2nd at 7:30 p.m. in the Light Recital Hall, Strength Faculty and Friends on Tuesday, April 7th at 7:30 p.m. in the Light Recital Hall, Jazz Ensemble 1 Spring Concert on Thursday, April 9th at 7:30 p.m. in the Light Recital Hall, or enjoy one of the many free events including Flute Studio on Saturday, March 15th at 3 p.m. in the Light Recital Hall, Student Saxophone Quartet on Tuesday, March 31st at 7:30 p.m. in the Light Recital Hall, BA and BSE Senior Show on view Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. from April 6th through April 16th in the Crossman Gallery, Wood Studio Recital on Friday, April 10th at 7:30 p.m. in the Light Recital Hall, Jen Shannon Studio on Saturday, April 11th from 3 p.m. in the Light Recital Hall, Saxophone Studio Concert on Saturday, April 11th at 5 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. in the Light Recital Hall. Tickets can be purchased in advance and are available in person via phone at 262-472-2222 or online at tickets.uww.edu. The box office is located in the Green Hills Center of the Arts and hours are Monday through Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. There is a $2 surcharge for tickets purchased at the event. Department of Music events are free for UW Whitewater students. Students also receive a discounted price for theater and dance tickets. Log into the Ticket Services website with your UWW credentials for your free or discounted tickets. I'm Grace Caputo, and this has been Inside the Arts on UWW TV.
Have you heard of UROC?
We're part of Whitewater and our own thing.
Come on, we'll show you.
I learned how to be a college student here, and now I'm headed off to Madison to study global health, and I know I'm ready.
People like me who aren't a fan of big crowds would really like UROC because it's welcoming and it's laid back.
My advisor helped me figure out my schedule, organize my time, fill out my FAFSA, and figure out what classes I liked and how to turn that into a major. And if I had to do it again, I would choose UROC.
You ready to rock?
You belong here.
Welcome to Jitters Coffee House. Located on the first floor of the Wells Towers, Jitters is a student-run coffee lounge and offers a variety of coffee and ice cream-based drinks and is home to many entertaining programs, including live music, gamer trivia nights, and other performances. Coordinate your activity by emailing jitters@uww.edu. Jitters is completely run by volunteers who can earn service hours and even receive a free drink during their shift. Stop in tonight at Jitters Coffee House, where fun events and community come together.
Welcome to This Week in Wisconsin History. This week, we'll be covering the 1854 capture and subsequent rescue of escaped slave Joshua Glover. On the evening of Friday, March 10th, 1854, mill worker Joshua Glover was playing cards with his friends when a group of armed men stormed into his cabin and attempted to arrest him. Leading the group was Benami S. Garland, a Missouri slaveholder who purchased Glover 4 years prior. Glover escaped Garland's plantation in 1852. Trekking over 350 miles to settle in Racine, a staunch abolitionist town in the free state of Wisconsin. Garland later learned of Glover's new location and acquired a certificate of removal and a warrant for his escaped slave's arrest under the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, then set off to retrieve Glover from Wisconsin. The arresting party repeatedly beat Glover before securing him with manacles and tossing his bleeding, half-conscious body into a wagon. Glover's captors then set out for Milwaukee, hoping for a quick hearing and a discreet removal of the fugitive to Missouri with little to no trouble from Wisconsin's abolitionists. However, news of Glover's capture and imprisonment in a Milwaukee jail soon spread from Racine, reaching outspoken abolitionist newspaper editor Sherman M. Booth early Saturday morning. Booth and a group of other local anti-slavery advocates and lawyers immediately began working to release Glover. Booth rode his horse through nearby streets proclaiming a man's liberty is at stake, and that any freed man opposed to slavery gathered outside the courthouse for a public meeting. A crowd of around 4,000 people assembled in the square, listening to impassioned speeches from the local abolitionists condemning Glover's arrest and detainment under the Fugitive Slave Act. Upon hearing the judge's decision to postpone Glover's hearing to Monday and keep the badly beaten Glover imprisoned with no medical treatment, the crowd was outraged and decided to take matters into their own hands. A heavy wooden beam retrieved from the nearby construction site of St. John's Cathedral was used by the crowd as a battering ram, along with axes to break down the door to Glover's cell. Once freed, the crowd escorted Glover through Milwaukee's streets before reaching the Walker's Point Bridge, where a local businessman offered up his own buggy to transport Glover out of the city. With the raise of his cap to the cheering crowd, Joshua Glover was on his way to freedom once again. Glover was able to escape to Canada just 1 month after his rescue, living the rest of his life there as a free man. His rescue contributed to a growing statewide resistance against the Fugitive Slave Act leading up to the Civil War. In defiance of federal law, Wisconsin Supreme Court would be the only high state court to declare the Fugitive Slave Act unconstitutional before its official repeal in 1864. And that's what happened this week in Wisconsin history.
Welcome to Issues and Ideas, where every week we sit down with an influential member of the campus community to share their stories, experiences, and advice. I'm your host, Samantha Rogers, and today we're here with political science professor Eric Lepp. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad you came.
It is my pleasure. I love connecting with students and talking about politics and current events.
Yeah. Could you tell our audience a little bit about political science?
Everything related to politics and government, we try to understand how it works.
Why do you think it's important for us as college students to know at least a little bit about political science?
Well, the simple answer is the young people around the university, like you, are going to be around a lot longer than the people who are currently president or elected to Congress or even your professors. The people who are currently in power maybe don't always think about where we'll be in 50 years because they're probably focused on the next few years.
Is there anything that you think we should be looking out for in the future?
Well, it's funny. We talk a lot in political science about how things have changed a lot. In the last 10 years, kind of in the era of Donald Trump, the culture and the tone of American politics has shifted quite a bit. So I think it's really important for us to be mindful of how technology, especially younger people who are kind of growing up with this technology, it's important to recognize how that can influence the way we think about things.
Yeah. How can we as students avoid misinformation, for example?
That's a really, really good question, and it's something a lot of us are concerned about, not just political scientists or professors, but just all of us as people should be concerned in an era where there's not even agreement on what facts are in many cases, right?
Yeah.
The world as it looks on social media is actually way different than reality because it's that dramatic, keep the eyeballs on the screen that people are going for. So I think being mindful of the fact that the media aren't just holding up a mirror to reality and showing you, they're also a profit-driven company. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But being mindful of the fact that media are out there, they want eyeballs, and they might put spins on things or try to elevate certain stories over other stories to keep us interested. So kind of being aware of the human psyche and how they operate. But it's really important to diversify your portfolio. Think of it like a buffet. If you only eat one type of food at the buffet, it might be your favorite food. It might feel good for a while, but in the long run, your health probably isn't better off. You want to be having all sorts of vegetables and protein and this and that. So so number one, be mindful of how human psychology plays into the way media content is produced. And then number two, be very proactive, because the media won't help you with this. They want you to stay on their thing. Be proactive about diversifying your media diet so you're hearing from a lot of different people. But especially in the world of politics, make people convince you, right? Like if they say something that sounds good, ask for the evidence. If it's something that sounds bad, give them some space to make their case. We can reflexively disagree with things or agree with things without really looking to see how legit those underlying claims are. And I encourage everybody to kind of push back against that instinct. We'll all be better off.
As journalists, we're trained to not be biased at all, to stay neutral. And a lot of the media sites online, they just report on anything and they don't have any training. Is there anything you think we should be paying attention to as students consuming politics?
I think it's really important to be, how do I want to put this? Just being aware that what you're consuming is not necessarily, it's the best picture that the media can put together, but it's not always going to be the whole picture. There might be new information that comes out tomorrow.
For students on campus who might want to break into politics that don't know much about it, is there any resources on campus to do that?
Absolutely, yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So both major political parties in the US have organizations on our campus, the College Democrats and the College Republicans. So in terms of partisan stuff, if you like one of the two political parties, they are both out there. If you want to get involved in more local government, but not necessarily partisan government, there's also the Whitewater Student Government.
Is there any piece of advice that you would give to a college student to become a more informed citizen?
I think it would be that be skeptical but not cynical.
Yeah.
You know, in this day and age, it's really easy to be like, oh, politics, I can't even, right? And I totally understand that impulse because it can be stressful, right? It can be difficult, lots of competing claims. But that's not reason to turn away from it, especially younger people who have many decades left on this planet and who are going to be impacted by the decisions of government much longer than I am, much longer than our university leaders, our Congress people.
What about the people who are one-sided and they aren't open to viewing other people's sides? Do you have any advice for those types of people?
It's a fair question. A lot of people do feel pretty passionately kind of one way or another. And you know, I guess there's two levels to my answer for that question. One is none of us know everything. I mean, it's funny, like we talk about having experts on this show, and what's really a little bit ironic about that is, you know, when you get a PhD in political science or anything else, you're actually becoming an expert in a very, very, very tiny part even of political science. The truth is most political science, I'm not an expert in. So kind of keeping your mind open to the fact that none of us can know everything.
Yeah.
If you're someone who's really, really fixed in your views on politics, I'd just say, how would you want somebody who doesn't agree with you to respond to your request to hear you out? And I'd say kind of do the same thing. You don't ultimately have to change your mind. You don't have to switch parties or donate money. But in the long run, we all have a lot that we can learn from each other, especially younger people who just haven't been around long enough, right? You'll keep building knowledge. One thing I always tell my students, if they're in a situation where maybe they're in the minority on a political opinion, I always say you should welcome people from other political viewpoints, like kind of challenging you and pushing back on your argument. Like, don't take it personally, because they're doing you a huge favor. If you're pushing back on me as I'm trying to make an argument, all that's going to do is help me make a better, more cogent, more thoughtful argument. I'm going to be able to prepare better counterpoints. So that's way better in the long run than just sitting in a room with people who agree with you and talking about how great is it that we all agree on this, right? We're better off having our viewpoints challenged, right? It's like bone, right? Having your bone tested in your muscle, that's what makes it stronger over time.
I really like what you said. We're better off having our viewpoints challenged. That's so important, especially in this space as college students where we're introduced to other cultures and just people from different backgrounds. Right. So I really appreciate you for coming and dropping that knowledge.
It is my pleasure, Samantha.
Thank
Anytime.
you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today on this week's edition of Issues and Ideas. Thank you, Professor Lepp, for being here today. I think our viewers will find this conversation very influential. We'll be right back with more on Wake Up Whitewater right after this.
welcome to the show. Josh, let's take a look at some highlights from this last game here. What a performance by the UWW TV staff in this one.
Absolutely. Look at this clip. Bree is going to signal for Ryan to cut to camera 2, but instead Ryan's going to cut to 3, and that's where things might take a turn. But hold on a second here. Just when you think it's over, Bree makes the split-second decision and reaches over Ryan to cut to camera 2 herself.
And the truck goes wild. Once again, the UWW TV staff delivers.
We can see it. His relentless determination. A fiery tenacity that can't be taught. We see that what he's passionate about today will steer him toward what he studies tomorrow and ultimately fuel his future career. And all he needs now is to find the right college. Welcome to the Universities of Wisconsin. 13 universities, unlimited opportunity.
Love to show you what it's like to be a warhawk.
Come on!
Don't miss out on your chance to be a warhawk
at UW Whitewater.
You belong here!
The Royal Purple, the best place for all the latest news around the community and campus of UW Whitewater. Here you'll find all different types of weekly news stories, including sports, arts and rec, biz and tech, and even fun and interesting things like trendsetter columns and the tweet of the week. The Royal Purple has a full staff to handle all of your advertising and article needs. Ad managers and sales representatives can help you get your ad in seasonal print issues online at royalpurplenews.com and out on our social media platforms. Editors and journalists would love to write features about your organization and follow-ups about your important events. For more information on student employment opportunities, advertisement services, or anything news, contact the Royal Purple over at R.P@uww.edu or give us a call at 262-472-5100. Stop by our office and say hi on campus in McCutcheon Hall, room 113. For all of your local campus community news, check out the Royal Purple here at University of Wisconsin-Whitewater.
Here at UW Whitewater Intramural Sports, we have a motto: a sport for everyone and everyone in a sport.
Come on!
That's it anyways. Oh, she got that off. They're going to count it.
Had a blast. Always have fun at intramurals.
Every day we strive to go above and beyond that goal by providing healthy exercise, promoting leisure education, and giving students that competitive atmosphere they are looking for.
Yes! Yes!
It's exciting. Brings me back to those high school days with Friday Night Lights.
With our 25 different intramural sports offered, we guarantee that we have a sport for you. Go to our website and find your sport today.
I'm Chase Keller, and this is your UWW-TV Sports Update. The men's and women's basketball teams wrapped up their seasons in the NCAA Tournament Regionals this past weekend. The men's team defeated Loras College 85-76 on Friday and narrowly fell to Washington University in St. Louis 74-71 on Saturday. They finished their season 21-8. The women's team beat Transylvania University 70-65 on Friday before getting knocked out by the University of Chicago 62-46 on Saturday. They finished the season 20-9. The Warhawk gymnastics team finished second in the WIAC championship on Saturday. Their 193.825 performance is the fourth best in program history, and they only placed behind UW Oshkosh, which became the first Division III team in history to eclipse 195 points. Baseball returns to the field to compete in the Studers Blue Wahoo Challenge. They play in 5 games this upcoming week, beginning with the matchup against Nebraska Wesleyan this Tuesday at 10 in the morning. And we'll have more sports on UWW-TV right after this.
Welcome to the show. Josh, let's take a look at some highlights from this last game here. What a performance by the UWW-TV staff in this one.
Absolutely. Look at this clip. Bree is going to signal for Ryan to cut to camera 2, but instead Ryan's going to cut to 3, and that's where things might take a turn. But hold on a second here. Just when you think it's over, Bree makes the split-second decision and reaches over Ryan to cut to camera 2 herself.
And the truck goes wild. Once again, the UWW-TV staff delivers.
The Warhawks softball team began their season by playing 4 games in St. Louis, going 2-0 against Rhodes College and 0-2 against Washington University. Senior outfielder Bella Eggert led the team offensively with a .364 batting average, while junior pitcher Josie Hammond had a combined 0.64 ERA in her first 2 starts. The Warhawks continue their road trip as they travel to Claremont, Florida to compete in the spring games. They kick off the invite against Springfield College on Sunday at 9 in the morning. The men's and women's track and field teams competed in various last chance meets this past weekend, with 10 athletes improving their season's best to qualify for the indoor national meets. The qualifiers were announced on Sunday, with senior Dan Anderson, junior Caleb Batal, and sophomore Sam Vargas all qualifying for the meets. That meet will take place this Friday and Saturday. Finally, the Warhawk wrestling team will compete in the NCAA Division III Championship in Cedar Rapids, Iowa this Friday and Saturday, with 5 wrestlers taking the mat. Action kicks off at 10 in the morning. For more sports news and other updates, tune in to uwwtv.org. I'm Chase Keller, and this has been your sports update on UWW-TV.
Welcome back to Wake Up Whitewater. So the Warhawk Pantry turns 8 years old this week. Have you guys ever taken advantage of that?
I personally have never used it, but I was really thinking about it the other day. I think I need to just go in and look around first. I didn't even know what they have.
Yeah,
personally.
I take advantage of it quite often. My roommate works there, so that
yeah.
kind of got me into it and whatnot. But yeah, I know that they're looking for a lot of baked goods, cake, to celebrate their birthday,
Aww.
donate that type of stuff to celebrate. So yeah, if you have anything, drop it off.
Do they have a lot of cooking ingredients? Like I know if I because I live in a dorm right now. If I had a kitchen, would I be more would it be more of a benefit to me if I had a kitchen?
They'll have the boxes and stuff. Kind of to get you started, but the individual ingredients you'll probably have to go searching for. But yeah, they've got cake mix or whatnot.
Okay.
Otherwise, yeah, things in cans, canned goods and stuff. So yeah, I would definitely say take a look at it.
In other news, our student body president election is coming up this March 11th.
Yes.
So, would you guys ever consider running, or do you typically vote?
I don't know. I'm not a huge, obviously, I think leadership is a huge skill to have, and it's definitely something I've gotten better at being at college. This is might be too big for me. I feel I'm not, I would have to get my name out there. I'd have to be like really, you know,
Right.
into it to really
Sell
do it.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta have a big group of people willing to vote for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
would say I would vote. But yeah, this is, you know, I feel like I haven't been here long enough to be able
Yeah,
to
that's
get
true.
my name out there. So yeah, I'll leave that up to other people.
Well, yeah, I mean, I see some freshmen automatically try to get involved.
Yeah.
They set their, you know, their goals on it, and that's what they want to do. Especially if you have, you want to have a career in
Yeah.
government.
That is true.
Or,
Mhm,
yeah,
I mean,
it's a huge
public
opportunity.
speaking in general, like. It's
Yeah,
a good,
it's good
trait to
practice.
have.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're almost halfway through this semester. Midterms are coming up. Scary and exciting, right? Summer
Yeah,
is
exactly.
happening. The daylight saving is making it brighter. So really, really fun time of year for sure.
Yeah.
And it looks like that is all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Wake Up Whitewater. We'll see you next week with more news, sports, and entertainment. Make sure you stay tuned to UWW TV.